Hello, I'm just giving a quick update on my e-bike here, the from SMARTRAVEL that I got off Amazon about a month ago. I believe I just hit like 288. Yeah, 288 miles I put on this thing, and the rain just hit me here in Grand Isle. So I'm underneath the pavilion here at Donaldson Park in Grand Isle. But I put about 5 miles on this thing before I even got here. It handles great in the rain. I just don't want to get wet today. But it handles great. I mean, it handles great in sand and on bumpy terrain. I drive this thing through all the little goat paths. I call them goat paths, like these back roads that we have here in Grand Isle, Vermont. I got a lot of potholes because of the rain. The rain's been relentless this year in the state of Vermont. So there's a lot of dips, potholes, everything and this thing handles just like a beast. I mean, it is a beast. I mean, it's got the dual suspension. So even when you're hitting the worst of the potholes, you're not really feeling it, the bike kicking up on you. Do note with this SMARTRAVEL bike, the seat doesn't adjust. So you are kind of committed to what it is. So if you're under 5'5", I don't suggest using this bike because your feet won't touch the ground. But if you're between 5'5" and 6'7" is what they say in the documentation, this bike should be fine for you. When I sit on it, my back of my heels, like I'm sitting on it right now, the back of my heels are barely touching the ground. I'm on my toes. Once you get on it though, it's a comfortable ride. Once you get momentum going forward and you get into the balancing stage, it's a cool ride. It's a fun ride. The bike will go up to 34 miles an hour. I really believe it goes faster than that. It's just that the gauge won't show you anything more than 34 miles an hour. Because I'll be going 34 miles an hour on a straightaway, then I hit a hill going downhill, and it's clearly going faster than 34 miles an hour when it's coming down the hill. So I imagine this thing is getting up to 40 miles an hour. And this thing handles great on the concrete or on the tar of just a normal road. So you don't have to get all freaked out about going speeds at that level with this bike. It is really sturdy. It's a hardy bike. It's built really well. If you looked at the welds in here, I mean, I've looked at them. The welds are great. So, people would say, oh, geez, that's a bicycle going 40 miles an hour. Don't you get nervous? Not on this thing. This thing's a beast. It's a great little bike. I can't say enough great things about it. It looks real cool too. And I love that they give you the pouch so you can put things in there that you don't want to get wet if it starts to rain. And as you can see, it takes the rain and the moisture just fine. I mean, nothing's rusting. I mean, I've owned this thing about a month and I've put it through its paces. I mean, when I say I put, 288, I think we said, 288 miles. I would say a good portion of those miles are back road, sandy. I mean, I've gone through this field here in Donaldson Road because I'll ride the fence line. I'll get that back in the focus. I'll ride the fence line all the way around the park. It is like 4 inches of standing water by the back where you see those signs, those white signs. It's like 4 inches of standing water. And this bike just handles it perfect. Just goes through it it might not be good for the terrain that I'm doing that. And I try to go as slow as possible so I'm not hurting the field or their property. But it handles going through water just fine. There's a huge puddle over that way that I hit, and that's got to be almost 6 feet or 6 inches deep. 6 feet, I'd feel like drowning. It's like 6 inches deep, and it handles that just fine. And what's the beauty of the bike is it comes standard with the fenders. Oh, the system. What's great is the system shuts itself off if you haven't done anything. So if you walk away from the bike, it shuts itself off, which is great. But the fenders come stocked with this bike, so you're not getting any of the water coming up on your backside because it's being deflected by the fenders, which are standard for this bike. Well, that's it. I can't say enough great things about this. It's from SMARTRAVEL. I'll provide the link below in my YouTube channel so that you'll have it. But I totally recommend this bike. I mean, it is great. It's a pleasure to ride, and I'll give you some more updates in the future. All right, well, thank you for joining me.